Uh, last pretty much warm up opponent before we start Big Ten play. Last week was pretty. We had Michigan made us wait. The weather made us wait. I should say Mother Nature. Um, for JJ McCarty's, I'll say coming out party. Really, honestly, uh, huge plays coming out of him. In a 56-10 win over Hawaii. Ben, we'll start with the Hawaii game. What'd you think about it? JJ's performance. I mean, all around performance.
So all around performance, right? I thought, like Colorado State, we did what we were supposed to do. 90 something guys played this time. Forget the exact number. I know Harbaugh said it was over 90. And we come out, we look sharp offensively and defensively. We didn't get the sacks that we did the first week, but this guy's a little bit more mobile, and I forget the amount of pressures we got. I think it was close to a dozen, I believe.
Yeah, he was throwing the ball really quick too. After we lit him up, because we hit him really hard on that first play, and he's like, I don't want anything more of this.
Yeah, and I think that was part of their game plan after they seen the tape from the first week. Like, hey, we got to get the ball out quick because these guys are coming, right? And hungry. So, and that's a good thing. This team has, when a new season starts and you lose a couple players, especially on defense, like Ojabo and Hutchinson, the team can struggle to find their identity and find those pieces to fit in as replacements. And these guys have come in, instead of lack of confidence, they're very confident. And instead of, can I fill those shoes, these guys, their mindset is, we're going to fill those shoes and we're going to try to exceed that. So it's great. And so yeah, 56-10, couple meaningless scores. I believe, if my memory serves me correct, both scores were when second string were in.
Yeah, 3 in the third and 7 in the fourth.
Yeah. I knew for sure the touchdown was. I couldn't remember for sure about the thing, but yeah, the second string played the entire second half. So now to get to what everybody's talking about, what everybody's excited about is JJ. I guess the best way to put it is he went out and did. It really couldn't have went any better, right? 12 for 13. His only incompletion was a Ronnie Bell drop. Hit him in the hands. Ronnie's going to catch that ball. Harbaugh said a nearly flawless performance.
Yeah,
which is pretty high praise. I felt like, other than your casual fans, guys that are hardcore and pay attention like you and I do, really thought this was what was going to happen. But we've thought that a lot of times about a lot of players and a lot of teams over the years. So to see him come out there, first play was a quorum run, right? And then 40 something yarder.
Yeah, 46, I think it was.
46.
And a beautiful throw.
And then he just looked flawless. And then before I go any further, let me clarify this. I'm not dogging. I am going to dog on Cade a little bit, but I don't mean it in a derogatory way. It's just in comparison to JJ. There's been a lot to do. Even Harbaugh got involved about the boos. And I'm not a big booer, but and I do appreciate that what Cade did, without him last year, we're probably not sitting where we are, with a Big Ten championship and a college football playoff, because JJ just wasn't quite ready yet. And the Michigan State game last year, as we've talked about, kind of showed that. Moment was still a little too big for him, and I don't think it's going to happen, but it could happen now. It's easy to come in overconfident or very confident against a team that at that point. And I'm going to stray off here. I was a little bit surprised we didn't get any turnovers, did we, last week?
Yeah, we had one. We had
Did we?
one.
Hawaii
I don't.
came
I
in
don't.
with
Or
like
no. Oh
9
no.
turnovers in the first 2 games, and
Sorry. We had none. We had one, but it was our turnover when Cade threw that fucking dunk
right.
of a ball. Yeah, no,
So
we didn't.
so so back to Cade, and I do feel bad for Cade, but I also, you know, these guys are very happy when they make a good play and we cheer for them. And I think it's disrespectful to boo him? Yeah, a little bit, but I also think, it's a person's right. There's all kinds of guys on Twitter and Facebook. If I was at the stadium and I seen you boo Cade, I'd hit you right in your mouth. Well, that made me want to go to the stadium and fucking uh, boo him. But it was really obvious that this competition has gotten to Cade mentally, because he come in and he looks considerably worse than he did last year, and you could tell he was rattled, and you could tell he was forcing things, and he come in and he threw that pick, and I thought he was going to cry. And I mean, I get it. That's where I'm sympathetic for the kid, because he works his ass off. He did deliver, what helped deliver what was delivered last year, but JJ's just better, and it's not because Cade hasn't worked hard. It's not because he's not giving 100% effort. It's just sometimes better is better, and that's going to be a really good life lesson for him. But Cade just looked horrendous, and
Yeah.
JJ really couldn't have looked any better. I was watching some film breakdown, and hang on a second, I know you got a rant coming. I was watching some film breakdown, and this guy's like, listen, I'm really going to be nitpicky, but like this ball could have been 1 inch over further. And this ball, there was a couple that were, I think that first touchdown to Roman, it was a little bit underthrown, but he had sailed it because he didn't want to overthrow him. He'd really put some air under it. So couldn't be more pleased, couldn't be more happy. We've done what we've done, what we were supposed to do. And it looks like that, we have an elite quarterback for the first time and probably since Chad Henne.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not gonna go on the rant. It ain't. It's gonna go way too far. I know you hit all the points. I mean, the only thing I was gonna say is shut the fuck up. Like, not you, but he. I've been reading shit where he's getting messages, things like that. Like, he literally he led us to a Big Ten championship. He's still the captain of this football team,
Right?
whether he's the starter or not. He still plays a big part in this team.
And he does.
We're playing Hawaii. There's no reason to go out there and boo a kid when you're up 56-10. And if he's the only one playing and we're losing, sure. Why aren't you fucking booing fucking Alex Bowman or fucking Davis Warren? Like, you're mad because they're not even mad. They're just fucking shitty ass fans. And I'm like,
and
I'm not. Again,
I'm on a little bit of a different side of the fence from you. I think booing's perfectly okay. I think if you're sending the kid messages on social media, you're a fucking loser. If I haven't seen this, but I wouldn't be shocked if it happened, because college football fans are crazy, and Michigan isn't crazy in a lot of ways. The SE teams are, but you shouldn't be having any interactions with these kids, or making threats. Any interactions, especially in a negative manner. But these kids are there's kids. You don't know them. You think you know them because you watch them on TV. Leave them alone. But again, I got no problem with the booing myself. I probably personally wouldn't do it, but these people bought their tickets, and one other thing is that that first sack he took, I think it was his first play. The O-line really looked shitty when he was in there, and has looked great with JJ. And I wonder, even if it was subconsciously, that they're playing a little bit less hard
down, yeah.
When he's in there. Like I said, maybe it's even a subconscious thing, but I put a post on Facebook after that first drive, JJ two plays touchdown. You could just tell the way that the people ran to him and the way that the sideline reacted, that this is what they all wanted. That's the vibe I got, and that it's his team. You know, I put out there, this is JJ's team now, or something like that, and you know, it fits together. And you and I had this conversation. I think Harbaugh's known for a little bit. He's trying to let Cade down as softly as possible. One, because he's a player's coach, but two, because what he's done for, you know, what Cade's done for the Michigan football program. But I
it's
think,
like you said.
Yeah, then that's where I'm going. I think Harbaugh's saying, this is why I'm benching quarterback that took us to our first Big Ten championship in 15 years and our first ever college football. This is why, and it's here for the whole world to see. I really believe that.
No, so do I. I don't think there's, like I said, when we talked about it Saturday or whatever it was, Sunday, it didn't matter then. I think it's 100% why it happened now. I mean, he's in 2 games. I know the first game he didn't really throw the ball a lot, but JJ's 15 for 16, I think it is. I don't know.
Yeah, I believe that's
the actual
right.
stats pulled up. Yeah, he'd be 15 for 16. He's throwing 93% passing. I mean, I know for 300 yards, I think it is. I think the first game he threw for like 50 yards. I don't know 100% remember, but we'll say in 3 touchdowns. I mean, when you're throwing 93%, I mean, I know that number won't stay. I mean, that's obviously not a reasonable number to even come close and to staying with. I mean, that's not. But through the games that we have and the games that we're playing, it is definitely he's doing what he's supposed to do. I don't think a quarterback should. Right? He said short routes, small routes, like you said. The only one was a drop by Ronnie Bell, and Ronnie Bell came up with. I'm going to go off on him real quick. Not off on him, but go sideways here. Do you think he plays scared? Do you think he's kind of playing scared right now? I'm not saying like scared, but I don't think he's going to do it anymore. But there was that drive where he dropped it, and then the very next play fumbled it because he like kind of like tried to like ease up to just take the hit instead of going into the hit. And I preferably don't think he's playing like super scared, but I think there's still a little bit of hesitation there.
And, you know, I think you're probably right. And I think that drop got in his head one way or another, whether it was insecurity or, you know, lack of confidence, whatever you want to call it. I think he was still thinking about that interception, and that contributed to him causing the fumble. I think physically he's probably pretty confident. It's got to be in the back of your mind, right?
Oh, yeah.
But you know, one of the things Jake Butt, who I thought did wonderful on his first Big Ten broadcast, you know, said several times that he, you know, mentioned that Ronnie wasn't wearing a brace and that he was a little bit surprised because Jake's come back three ACLs, right? And he said, you know, that really shows that he is comfortable and confident of where his body's at, and one, he would know because he's been there, you know, as a player and as, you know, having the ACL injuries. And so it's hard to say, but I do definitely think that fumble, the interception contributed to that. I think he was still pissed off about it and think about it. It wasn't 100% focused on the next play.
Yeah, I mean, no, that's just one thing. Like, I kind of see it, like, kind of seeing a little bit, like, not, and it's just not in those 2 plays. That's just the example that I was bringing up. I've seen it a few other times, especially week 1. I think week 1 you've seen a little bit more.
Yeah.
But yeah, where was I going to go after that? I mean, all around. I mean, we put up damn near 600 total yards of offense. 558, 320 in the air, and 268 rushing. Like I said, I didn't watch the second half, as you know.
Yep.
And I mean, oh, can I say those balls that JJ threw at the end of the half, those 2 touchdowns, the one to Cornelius Johnson where he stepped up in the pocket,
Yep.
and then the one to Donovan. It wasn't this one. I guess it wasn't a touchdown, but that pass to Donovan Edwards down the sideline,
Yep. Beautiful
like down
balls.
to like the 1 yard line. I like. This is why, like you said, this is why he's starting. I just thought about that when it points to Sox. I didn't get to watch either one of those until the next day, and so I was on my way to work and I was listening to
So
John Jansen and them.
we talked last week about I wondered if Cornelius Johnson, part of his drops were the way that Cade threw the ball, or maybe his timing with Cade, blah blah blah. And before I get into that, the day after the game last Sunday, Cornelius and somebody else, might have been Ronnie Bell, I'm thinking it was Andrell Anthony, put a tweet that all those 1 a.m. throwing sessions at Glick are paying off. So I wonder if
I've seen that
JJ
too.
was doing that and Cade wasn't. And, Harbaugh threw Cade out there to protect Cade, which I get and I applaud. But Cornelius looked good, didn't drop any passes. But JJ, listen to this. So let me pull it up here. 11 of 12, 229 yards, 3 touchdowns, passer rating of 334.5, which is a perfect rating. And when these stats were brought up to Harbaugh at the post-game press conference, all he did was shake his head and laugh. It's ridiculous. And
his QBR was, like you said, 99.92.
Yeah, part of me wishes that JJ set the bar really high now, right? And you can't really go up from there because Ronnie should have caught that drop. It wasn't a bad ball.
Yeah.
It wasn't, it was right on the money. So we'll see. But crazy, mad numbers that he put out. Touchdowns on 6 of his 7 drives in the first half. It just doesn't get any better than that. And yeah, it's Hawaii and Colorado State, and this week's UConn, and next week is Maryland. Maryland may or may not be a little improved, but we'll see. October 1st, Iowa. That'll be our first test. Maybe Iowa's looking rough, so they might get
they got a defense.
They might not, but man, how far they have fallen from making the conference championship last year to scoring more safeties than touchdowns so far this year.
Well, yeah. No, I mean, the defense scored the same amount of points as their offense has this year. Like, not just special teams, but well, let's go. I suppose do players of the game from the Hawaii game. I think the offensive player of the game is probably pretty obvious, right?
Yeah.
I think it's probably JJ at that point. Do you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't think it can be anybody else.
No, I don't either. And then defensively, who do you have? No,
hang on, I'm freezing up here again.
A lot of players. Yeah, we had 50. Oh, well, we did have a lot of players play. I'm honestly gonna go with probably Braden McGregor. Honestly, Braden McGregor played. I know it's a little. That's just for me. While he was in, whether it was with the first string or when he came in with the second string later on, I mean, he seems like he got a lot of pressures. He did have a tackle for loss. He only had 2 total tackles, but I mean, no one had more than 4 all night.
Right.
Just because that many people played. So I'm going to go with Braden McGregor. He had quarterback hurry too. I think all around he had pretty much a pretty decent game. I think him by the end of the season has a really good chance to just become a monster of a defensive end.
Yep.
So I'm excited to see what he does. You got your pick yet, or you still froze up?
Yeah, no, I'm gonna go with, and this is a little bit unconventional, but I'm just highly impressed with what he's done. Again, I know the opponents, blah blah blah, but Sanders still, I'm gonna go with him just because, man, he has looked impressive on the defensive side of the ball, and he has flown to the ball. I've particularly been paying really close attention to him. And he's in position. And I'm no expert, right? But he just seems to be always in the right position to make a play. And I just don't think that people understand how hard that is to do. Spent his first 2 years at Michigan playing wide receiver. Was a really good two-way player in high school, but a lot of these kids are. And to be able to come in and basically in a few months learn a whole nother system on the opposite side of the ball and come in and play pretty damn well is impressive. So that's why I'm giving it to him.
Yeah, I don't think that's a bad pick. I completely agree. He's been from someone that's came with offensive side, but now what he switched to defensive side in fall camp, or was it spring camp?
I believe it was in between, if I remember right.
Yeah, I can't remember what. Shit, I'm sorry, guys. I'm fucking tired. I can't remember exactly when it was, but I know it was like. Oh wow. I'm going to give a shout out to Roman Wilson real quick. Sorry to go off track. I did not realize he has 3 receptions for 107 yards and 2 scores.
So one thing about Roman Wilson, and I know that they're spread the love and a lot of people are playing, and our guys, our starters are only playing, basically the first half right now. But first game, Roman Wilson, I believe, scored the first 2 touchdowns, right? And he didn't get any touches after that. And then last week he had a touchdown, and then only had one touch after that. Oh yeah, 2.
He had 2 touchdowns.
Yep.
Because he had that end around.
So he's not getting anything after that, and maybe that's just because of the circumstances of the opponent and the score and stuff. But yeah, he looks like a player, right? And we knew his speed, and he made some plays last year, but I think everybody kind of thought Ronnie Bell would jump in and be the man again. And another guy, hang on one second, Andrew Anthony, haven't really seen or heard much from him yet, and I really hoped and expected to see big things from him this year. But again, it's early. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, and Ronnie Bell kind of, played, in my opinion, very well. And he probably would have been my second offensive player of the game.
Yep.
I think he had 4 receptions for 76 yards and a touchdown. So it's not. I think he's going to be that go-to guy still. Like, hey, we need a big reception. We need a big first down on 3rd and 8. Who are we going to go to? And I still think that's honestly probably Ronnie Bell or Cornelius Johnson are our 2 go-to. Hey, we need a big, not a big play, but a big. I guess a big play still, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. We got something where we need a 4th down
game,
or whatever.
And it's 3rd down. I'm gonna go to these guys instead of maybe Roman Wilson, who's more of a speed downfield man. Well, Ronnie Bell is your traditional slot receiver who's gonna be right in the gut of everything, catching the balls in the middle of the field, taking hits from the linebacker. Just like he has. But that's about all I got on the Hawaii game.
Yeah, one thing I'm sitting here pouring over the stats again, and I've missed this the first few times, is that I didn't realize we punted 4 times. That seems like a lot, and I'm sure a lot of it had to do with the second half and the players that were playing.
The third quarter, we didn't put any points on the board.
Yep. So that's all I got.
Yeah. Well, on a UConn today, we got 47.5 point spread again. I mean, 47.5 is what our point differentials, average point differential has been this season, I'm pretty sure. 51, yeah, just around there. So, Michigan, I think we're going to see a lot of the same. I mean, obviously, I think they came out with a ranking this week of like the top 25 bottom teams in college football. So like the worst 25 teams in college football. And I think UConn and Hawaii, not UConn, Colorado State and Hawaii were like number 1 and 2, like at the bottom. And then I think UConn was like number 17, the 17th worst team. I mean, I'm going to kind of go off on a rant here. I read something that you know the Hugh Show, right?
Yeah.
Whatever, out of Lansing. I read last night he said Michigan could have bought out one of these low-level schools and scheduled a team on the road or a big team on the road. He's like I applaud Michigan State for going to play Washington and Miami on the road the past 2 seasons. And something about Mel Tucker, and I'm like, all right, well, just keep sucking his. You know what?
Right.
But I mean that's not the only place where you hear this from, a Michigan schedule. But the SEC plays the weakest non-conference schedule, and I'm not saying like I know Michigan, but you don't hear anyone complaining when it's SEC, when it's another good school that's playing fucking nobodies like Ohio State. No one's out there complaining about their schedule, but of course, when it's Michigan, when it's Jim Harbaugh, when it's people like that, they're complaining. I think it was Feinbaum that was complaining about it the other day. Fuck that old fuck. Excuse my language.
He was, and here Alabama's got Utah State, LA Monroe, and then they did have Texas, so I'll give them that, but Vanderbilt. So shut the fuck up.
No, I get it. Like
everybody thought that Texas was going to be garbage this year too, and scheduling could be 3, 4, 5 years out. So maybe Texas was okay when it happened, but the SEC teams have been doing this for years, right? Years.
They play a FCS team like week 11 every year, it seems.
And the other thing is last year Washington was supposed to be good, right? We played them, and they ended up not being very good.
By the way, go Huskies tonight.
Go Huskies tonight. But Sparty fans are all Washington, nah. And now all of a sudden Sparty fans thinks fucking Washington is Alabama 2.0, and they're 3-point dogs. And so if Michigan State happens to win tonight, they're going to act like they beat somebody, and maybe they are, but maybe they're not. But they were. I know they were. I want to say Washington was ranked top 15 last year when we played them, and they just ended up being garbage. No,
they weren't right because they lost to Montana or Montana State, whatever team.
Yeah, so maybe it was preseason. I think about. You're right.
Yeah, I think preseason they were definitely ranked. I do remember that. But I mean, I'm gonna go off on a tangent. But I mean, if they really want to talk about that, don't worry, guys. We got. Let's go look at the next few years. ESPN don't have them up. I know we have Oklahoma and Texas coming up on our schedules. I think we have a home and home with Oklahoma and maybe a home and home with Texas. It might just be one game with Texas. I think our first game against one of those two is in 2024. So we got another year of college football of maybe playing. I don't know who our schedule is next week. I'm looking it up, or next year off season. But I mean, Michigan's one of those teams, in my opinion, who doesn't just usually play. Who doesn't play weak teams usually every off season. We usually have one team that, hey, can play, whether it was Notre Dame. I mean, yeah, there's that at that. we had a good team that we played every single season pretty much,
Right.
until Notre Dame ended up backing out of the rivalry because they don't want their asses whooped anymore. But that's in my opinion, that's where that comes in to me. I mean, we have three non good games this year. Last year, like you said, we're supposed to have it. I think the year before that, it was okay. 2020 doesn't count because that was a COVID year, so we didn't play any non-conference games. 2019, we played Wisconsin. We sorry, we played Notre Dame in 2019. We played them in week 6. 2018, I think we played Florida. Is that no? We played Notre Dame week 1. 2017, we played Florida. I do know that we played Florida down in Texas, and then the year before that, I think we played. No, I think 2016 we had a pretty weak schedule. So I mean, there's Notre Dame, Florida. Yeah, 2016 we had a pretty low schedule. I mean, technically we played if you want to go off the Scott Frost talk, which by the way, thank God he got fired. I can cheer for Nebraska to do good again in the Big Ten. That fucking clown. But if you want to go off Scott Frost talk, we played the defending national champion Central Florida that season. Right. So, but the point is, I know I kind of went off, and the point is that Michigan is normally a team that doesn't play knockover games to start the season. We play usually one non-conference game that's a decent game.
So, yeah. So the other thing that gets overlooked, and I forget about a lot too, is that we had a home and home that was supposed to start this year with UCLA, and last year we dropped them, gave them $1.5 million buyout to get out of that contract. And so, that's a part of the reason that was supposed to be the game today. And UCLA ends up, they're not that good. But, that was, I want to say that was 2017 that was announced. And,
it was a while ago.
Decent program. And that just sometimes it doesn't work out. But, I've advocated for a long time, and I'd love to see Michigan play Notre Dame again on a regular basis. Don't get me wrong. But Michigan's schedule is what, Ohio State's been doing, what Clemson's been doing, what Bama's been doing, what Georgia's been doing, to put yourself in a position to play, for a championship. You need those, since there's no preseason, you kind of need those easy opponents to fine tune some things and make sure you got what you think you got and take care of any surprises if you can't, on the other hand, if you're going to lose a game, it's better to lose early than late, I guess. But I got zero problem with the schedule. Me and my buddy Randy, we were talking, the first game, and he's like, "Oh, I hope it's a close game." And I'm like, "No, I want to see it be 100-0." He's like, "Well, I want to see the other guy score some points." And I'm like, "Yeah, I don't. I want to see what our defense is made of." And
so
I think they scored late in the fourth quarter. Colorado State did, and I was pissed. We were sitting out the campground watching it and having a good time. But football has changed tremendously. College football has in my lifetime. It's changed a lot in the last 5 or 10 years, and I think that's just the way it is. I wish we could play a ranked opponent every week, but in order for that to work, everybody would have to do that. The SEC model has obviously worked very well for them, and they were a decade ahead of everybody else. So here we are.
Yeah, so here I pulled up real quick like our future non-conference opponents. So 2023, we play ECU, UNLV, and Bowling Green. I mean, all should be wins next season. But after that, Michigan's pretty much packed up with good non-conference opponents. I mean, going to be playing SEC teams at this point, but in 2024 we play at Texas, 2025 at Oklahoma, 2026 home versus Oklahoma, 27 home against Texas, 28 at Washington, rescheduled from the 2020 season. And then in 4 years after that, we're scheduled to play Notre Dame in a home and home for 30,
Right.
33, 34. Wow, that does not seem that far away, but it does. That just like looking at 2033 seems like it's forever away, but it's not. It's only
It'll
10
be here
years.
before we know it.
But I mean, we gotta. It's gonna be a test from here on out. I mean, next year we get another low side of the schedule, Brett. But after that, Texas, Oklahoma on the road, back-to-back seasons, and then a home and home or homes against them. But enjoy it. But I, like you said, I don't mind having a schedule like this. Like I'll take a schedule where we play fucking Alabama every year if it means. But also another good point that I just thought about was the college football playoff committee seems to punish teams more than it is to reward them for losing a non-conference game to a good team.
Yeah.
So why I mean, I don't blame what Alabama does usually.
No.
Why schedule a team that you have a chance to lose to?
Right.
If you lose that game, you're probably going to be at your chances to make the playoff are out of the window.
Right. When you're a consistently whatever top 10, maybe 15 program, and your goal, your realistic goal, because a lot of teams' goal is to win a championship every year, but legitimately every year, maybe 6 to 8 teams have a legitimate shot to win it at the beginning of the season, right? And why eliminate yourself in week 1, 2, or 3 of the season from that conversation? Give yourself a chance to get the bugs worked out again, because no preseason, and I do think that's coming now that they're paying these kids. I do think these preseason type of deal is coming. I consider this our preseason, but we'll see. But anyways, why put yourself in the position where you could lose what you've worked for a year for to get, and still have to play a bunch of games? It just doesn't make any sense. So I agree that Alabama has done the right thing, but again, the SEC was so far ahead of the rest of the country in this, because it used to be that's how it was. You had big games, but I like it. We'll see what happens. Do I wish the games were a little more competitive? Part of me yes, part of me no. I like seeing the Madden numbers kick out. I like us, first 2 plays of the game, 40-yard run, 40-yard pass, touchdown. That's fun. For me, that's fun to watch. I don't give a shit. So I get both sides of it, but I think, and it really played well in our favor this year with our quarterback situation. It allowed Harbaugh to do what he did, and I do think he mostly did that to kind of cover his own ass, and take the heat off of him. But again, he proved to be right, and 2, it's worked out well so far, and there doesn't appear to be any chemistry problems or anything like that. And Cade had his one little moment after the Colorado State game where he vented, but since then he's kind of did the right thing. And one thing, and not to pile on Cade, one other thing I meant to say when we were talking about the Ohio game is that our third string quarterback come in and looked pretty good. Looked a lot better than Cade too. And again, I think Cade's rattled and his confidence is shaken, and we'll see what happens with that, but hopefully he sticks around and can come back. And football's a long season. A lot of things happen. This is the part where I don't like the booing is JJ could tear an ACL today, and we could need Cade, and we need a confident and prepared Cade whose head is in the game and ready to go at any moment, not someone that's wondering if he's good enough. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, I know. That's like you just said. That's definitely another reason why you don't boo somebody, because
right.
Who knows? You never know. You
Yep.
never know what's going to happen in sports. So, well, let's go into predictions here. I mean, I think we'll go. I guess we'll start with our game. We'll do some picks on some games. Start with our game, Michigan UConn. I mean, I think we're both going to be on the Michigan side of this, obviously.
Yeah. So here's UConn. UConn's 1-2, right? Lost to Utah State 31-20, beat Central Connecticut 28-3, and then lost to Syracuse 48-14. We're right around 50 on the spread again, right? If I remember right. And no?
Yeah, it's 47. I said, yeah. I said,
Okay,
sorry.
Yeah. So, 70-3 is my prediction today.
70-3?
Yep.
You think we're going to beat them 70-3?
I do.
We can't even beat Hawaii's trash defense 70-3.
Yeah, I think that the starters are going to get a little more time today, and
well, you better hope Cade McNamara plays better than he did Saturday. Then, if you want 70-3.
Well, we'll see what happens. I think we cover the spread by halftime.
I think we cover the spread. I think, unlike the last 2 weeks, I think we cover the spread. Well, I guess 2 weeks ago we did. Oh, I know we did last week. Last week's spread was fucking outrageous. So I think it was like, what, 53?
51.5 or something. Yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah, I think we win. I think we win probably about what we win by 49-3, 49-0. I don't think we scored over 60 points. I mean, I don't think that's never been who Harbaugh's been. I think we scored over 60 like
It's been a handful of times, and you're right about that. But I just
last time when we played Hawaii, and I think 2016 we beat them 63-3, or yeah. I think we beat Northern Illinois last season 63-2. Yeah, was it last season? Yeah, 63-3.
Yeah. And a few years ago, we put up close to 80 on Rutgers. I think it was
79-0.
Yeah,
that was. Yeah, Rutgers. I'm sorry. It's a different road to go down, but yeah. Okay, let me go back here. But yeah, I think another easy win, another easy day. Shit, you might as well just go to the game. Tickets are only $13.
I know. I'm actually going to a Kid Rock concert tonight, so game's out. We made plans with the Berlins like around Christmas time to do this. So Kid Rock and Foreigner at Pine Knob tonight.
We'll have fun.
Yeah.
So next pick. So we got Penn State Auburn tonight. Who you got in that one?
Auburn. 35-23.
Yeah, see Penn State's favored 2.5.
That's at Auburn, right?
Yeah, it's at Jordan Hare.
Yeah.
I thought about maybe trying to get tickets for it, but I was like, I don't want to watch Michigan. I think Auburn walks away with it. Penn State just, even though they're 2-0, they haven't looked that well this year, especially against Purdue. I mean, Purdue could be a legit Big Ten West.
You can't trust Franklin's teams. You just can't. You know.
No.
And I wouldn't be surprised if they won, but I just don't see it happening.
Yeah, I think Penn State. I think Auburn wins it by 10. I say like a 35-24 game. If Penn State gets their offense going.
Yep.
Another game tonight. We'll take, I guess, the little brother versus Washington. 6:30 kickoff. Washington favored by 3.5. I think Washington. I think Washington wins. I think they cover, and I think they cover by at least a touchdown.
Yeah, I think 7 to 10 points, and I got Washington as well as in that one.
I think
a lot of questions for Sparty. They already got some early injuries too as well, and you know, I don't like, Mel Tucker could walk on water, and I would still think he's a fuckhead because who he coaches for. But I guess I've never really listened to him speak, and he was talking after their game last week. And that guy sounds about as illiterate and as uneducated as they come. I was really surprised that a college coach at this level of football could go on there and sound like he got picked off the street corner in the middle of the hood.
Well, I mean, he's full of himself at that, but so is all the Sparties. Yeah, I won't say it for the kids, even though I've cussed about 10 times already this episode, and about every episode. But, yeah, I think not Wisconsin, Jesus. Because I think Washington probably wins it, and I think it'll be a low-scoring game. I don't think it'll be high-scoring. I think it'll probably be like a 17-10, somewhere in there, 20-13, something like that. I don't think it'll be a high-scoring game. They have the over-under at 56.5, and I think it's definitely going to be under.
Oh yeah, I'm with you on that. I think that's definitely under.
And in my opinion, that's just atrocious. I mean, I don't think either team's. I mean, what's that? They're 56. What's that? Come on, Mr. Math. What's that per team?
I didn't hear what you broke up.
28. So each team's got to pretty much score 28 points.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I think it's definitely under. That would be a good one. Go for me to run to the casino and make a bet on real quick.
Can you can you bet online on your phone now?
Not down here. You can go to the casino and bet, but you can't.
Right.
They have sports books.
Yeah, all the casinos and then DraftKings and whoever, there's a million of them. You can do it right from your phone now here.
Oh, I know. It's dumb because we can do it at casinos. I'm like,
right.
Why?
What's the difference?
There's no difference. And then I guess the top 25 matchup tonight against probably the best game. What could be the best game of the day is Miami at Texas A&M. Texas A&M coming off of that loss to App State last week. At home. They're at home again against Miami. Texas A&M favored by 6. Looking at Miami this season, they haven't looked horrible. The first game looked good. They played, I don't even know who BCU is. Last week they played University of Southern Miss, beat them 30-7. If A&M doesn't play, I think I'm going to say Miami wins it by 2 scores. I just don't see. I don't think Jimbo Fisher's going to be that dude at Texas A&M as everyone's saying at this point.
It doesn't appear that way, and there was a big deal made about all their NIL spending, and they kind of they put themselves out there, and second game of the season they lose to App State, and on the flip side at Miami, Gaddis had his kind of coming out party last year for us, and he's the OC there, right?
Yeah, thanks for reminding me. Never mind. Fuck Miami.
And I was gonna go with A&M strictly on my dislike for Gaddis.
I don't like Mario Cristobal either, but
no, and me neither. But Jimbo does seem to be a bit of a choke artist in these type of situations. And Miami's hungry, and Cristobal and Gaddis both have a lot to prove. You know, Cristobal left Oregon, right, and Gaddis picked up his toys and went home because Jimmy didn't go to the NFL, and he didn't get his head coaching spot, so he felt disrespected and left, and that's fine. You know, I think we're going to be just fine where we're at.
Oh yeah.
So that's a tough one with me, just because I'm a grudge holder, and I don't particularly like the way that he left Michigan, and you know, he took some shots. So fuck him, but I do think that Miami's probably going to win that game, but I'm pulling for A&M on that one.
Yeah, I don't. It is a night game. Yeah. So I mean, Kyle Field, one of the best definitely one of the best football environments, at least in college football. The 12th man, I mean, it very well could go the other way. I just don't think it will. I think Miami wins it by at least 2 scores, like 10 to 14.
Yeah.
It could be a bold pick. I mean, but yeah, I mean, you think just real quick, you think Nebraska can get over the hump today and take down Oklahoma now that Scott Frost isn't there?
I was going there before we were done here. That's my upset alert for the day. I think they will. I think. Oh man.
I hope Nebraska just comes out and runs the table now. Honestly, won't even be mad.
That guy is such a dick, and just seems to be a shitty person in general, you know. And I just hope they do. It will confirm that they did the right thing and did what they should have done probably last year, maybe even 2 years ago, is got rid of his ass. You know, from his fake national championship in 1997 to his fake UCF title, you know, whatever that was, 5-6 years ago. Fuck Scott Frost.
Oh yeah, 100%. I think we both agree on that. I would love to. I wouldn't even be mad if we ended up making the Big Ten championship when we lost to Nebraska in the Big Ten championship. Honestly, I wouldn't be too mad about it, because Nebraska was to run the tables from here on out. Yep. It would make that motherfucker look like the dumbest dumbass ever. But I got one more game I just found. BYU Oregon. This will be the last pick at Autzen in Oregon. BYU's playing decent ball. I think they are overrated, though, compared to what they are. I mean, they beat Baylor last week, but I just think Baylor's a good team, but I don't think BYU is a top 10 team. They're at number 12 right now. I mean, Oregon sitting at 25. They lost to Georgia 49-3, and then put up 70-14 on Eastern Washington last week. I think Oregon wins it.
I'm gonna roll with BYU on this one. I do agree. I think they're overrated, but I think Oregon is too. You know, I know I've mentioned this before, I think fairly recently, but my first game that I worked at the Big House, Oregon won. That's kind of what put them on the map, and I've hated them ever since. So I'm pulling, and I'm gonna call BYU's gonna win this close game. 10 or less, they're gonna win by.
Yeah. So we'll see. I mean, that game starts at 2:30. It'll probably be the next game I'll watch after our game's over. I don't think there's really any other good games on at 2:30. But all right, you got anything else today, Ben?
No, sir. I hope that this is out of order quick, because we're gonna leave about 3:00 to go up to Clarkston's about 2 hours from us. So hope it's a good, clean, quick first half, and then I can kind of move on about my day and get moving, and I'll watch the rest of the game tomorrow when I get home.
Hopefully it don't get rain delayed for you like it did for me last week when I was in a pinch. But all right,
it's supposed to be nice today, but yeah, we'll see. You know, we didn't talk about that. That was something, you know, supposed to go that game and didn't work out, and I'm glad it didn't work out, because it was a miserable experience for the people that were there. But
you wanna tell them why it didn't work out? Because you're a sissy.
Yeah, because I pulled 2 muscles in my back and I couldn't even hardly walk. And I knew that walking probably a minimum of 2 miles was not going to do me any good. So
Well, I mean, a real fan would have just pushed through and went to the game. But anyways, guys, y'all have a great weekend. Go
if
Blue.
that was Ohio State and not Northern Idaho University, I would have pushed through it, but it really wasn't that big a deal.
Still sissy. Anyways, guys, have a good weekend. Go Blue. Beat Hawaii, and we'll see y'all this week or whenever we get episode up this week.
Yes, sir.
Have a good one.